In the world of transportation, high-tech trucks mean powerful engines with various modes of functionalities. They're also about driving really carefully and saving energy. However, that doesn't mean safety is completely overruled. Even though truck makers are continuously adding new safety stuff to prevent accidents, crashes are still inevitable at a substantial rate. And when they do, it's usually way worse, particularly for the other smaller vehicles on the road, because trucks are just so big and heavy in mass. In fact, according to data from Forbes, there were more than 500,000 truck accidents in 2021 alone. That's a big jump from the previous year, when there were just over 415,000 truck-related incidents in the US. Those accidents, in fact, led to almost 155,000 injuries, according to the National Safety Council. In 2022, there were about 32% of truck accidents resulting in injuries. It translates to a total of 54,667 injuries out of the 168,320 reported accidents. And if we look into some recent data, trucks are involved in 17% of all fatal accidents. Some truck makers are improving the brakings. Some are working on features. Others are playing with the technology. But despite all the diversified experiments, there's still a big question mark hanging over the future of trucking safety. Will these new ideas actually help make accidents less likely? Or are we still facing roadblocks on the journey to safer trucking? High-tech trucks are a big deal in transportation now. We can say the future of safe transportation. They're all about using fancy technology and strong engineering to ensure betterment of technology and safety of itself, along with other vehicles this truck encounters. Basically, most of the companies are working on making their upcoming trucks high-end features packed and near-miss preventing safety to prevent all the hazards. But today's high-tech trucks weren't the same as the past. Today's trucks have undergone a huge transformation compared to their predecessors, both ins and outs, physically and technologically. For instance, the average truck engine power has increased a lot in the last 2 decades. Advancements in aerodynamics and fuel efficiency have yielded a surprising reduction in fuel consumption per mile traveled compared to trucks from just a decade ago. But trucks were designed differently, and that too for different perspectives decades ago. For that, you need to go back to the root of its history. The history of trucking traces back to the mid-18th century. During the period of warfare, nations were in need of innovative logistics solutions. People were seeking a labor-saving way to move things here from there. Then, a French military engineer named Nicolas-Joseph Cugnot was assigned a mission to find something that could transport all the heavy cannons more efficiently. It was full of challenges, and he began to carry out experiments on making the very first prototype. It was the year 1769 when Cugnot came up with a solution, a vehicle that runs by a steam engine. It was counted as the revolutionary concept of that time period, because no one has done something like that before. Even though the vehicle was slow and looked a bit clumsy, it could haul around 4 tons of stuff at once, which turned out to be really a big deal. But that prototype also underwent an accident right after 2 years of its invention. It ploughed into the wall made of stone within the range of Paris Arsenal walls. And this makes the record of first ever recorded traffic accident in history. In the 1980s, one of the major concerns for transportation was using too much fuel, because there was an ongoing crisis of oil. All the truck makers of that time started finding ways to make trucks use less fuel while keeping them strong and powerful. To put that in execution, they started working on making better engines and changed how trucks were shaped. They've used lighter materials in those trucks to increase their aerodynamics. Following the devastation of World War I, the post-war period brought in a slew of advancements in trucking technology. The engineers used the solid rubber tires to replace the wooden counterparts and preferred diesel engines as the preferred power source due to their reliability and fuel efficiency. As a result, trucks were becoming larger and more powerful than ever before. Despite the invention of diesel engines in the late 19th century, their widespread adoption in trucks did not occur until the 1930s. After World War I, the trucking industry went through significant transformations. Earlier days, trucks used to be rolling on wooden tires, but truck makers got an idea of using solid rubber tires, which provided better durability and traction on the roads of the post-war era. Another greatest addition that took place was the integration of diesel engines. Though it was not too common like present days, it began to rise in popularity due to their reliability and fuel efficiency. Everyone was gradually replacing other forms of engines with the diesel ones. As a result, the trucks were becoming larger and more powerful than ever before. They were capable of transporting heavy-laden loads over longer distances. Though diesel engines were invented in the late 19th century, it took until the 1930s for them to become widely adopted in trucks. The only reason was higher cost. In the late 20th century, the second big changing phase happened to the trucking industry, which made trucks not just only an essential transport of carrying goods, but also a symbol of self-luxury and success, especially in the 1980s and 1990s. Manufacturers focused greatly on what each truck owner wanted and subsequently reflected those ideas to improve every nitty-gritty of the trucks. Trucks began to adapt distinct personalities. Some were made for adventure and fun, while others were for work or showing off. At the same time, trucks started being seen as family cars, not just for work. Truck beds got bigger to fit more people, and inside, they started looking more like regular cars with comfy seats, fancy music systems, and air conditioning. As the 19th century emerged, Cugnot's efforts began to benefit from the massive tractions, even if people realized a bit later. People started to see the potential of steam trucks, even though they were quite basic compared to what we have today. These early trucks might have been slow and clunky, but they've made a significant advancement in how we moved goods and materials from place to place. During the late 19th century, the inventors in Europe and the United States got in their strides and worked tirelessly to enhance truck designs. In 1895, Carl Benz, a German engineer, made history yet again by adapting his internal combustion engine to create the first modern truck. This milestone not only transformed the landscape of transportation, but also opened up exciting new roads for the trucking industry. Trucks equipped with Benz's innovative engine could now cover longer distances more efficiently. Safety became a big deal too. Truck makers started adding embellishments like better brakes and airbags to keep people safe. They also started pondering about the environment more than ever. For that reason, they started utilizing new fuels and cleaner engines. When it comes to design, Volvo trucks never compromise their safety, just to focus on style only. They believe it is equally important to look after the safety of such a massive truck while bringing changes to the overall aesthetics of the look. Take, for instance, their sleeker rear-view mirrors and advanced headlights. Not only do these upgrades make driving safer with better visibility, but also they add a premium touch that goes side by side with the truck's design and exterior. Plus, Volvo pays close attention to cabin design, making sure drivers are comfortable and everything they need is within reach. And with integrated air conditioning systems, drivers can catch some quality rest during those long trips, helping them stay sharp and safe on the road. From conceptualizing to bringing out the final outcome, it takes Volvo almost 5 solid years to produce one fully fledged truck. It required thousands of hours and numerous adjustments to ensure safety, technology, and aesthetics align with the instructions. To talk about the functional cabin, Volvo has made a bunch of integrations there. Usually a driver spends around 5 days per week in their cabin while on long-distance journeys. That's why the cabin needs to be feature-packed and comfortable for driving and relaxing. The new cabin of the Volvo trucks are 1 cubic meter bigger and have about 300 liters of extra storage. So whether the driver is short or tall, big or thin, they're going to get enough room inside the cabin. On the upper side of the cabin, there are some nice, flowing, simple surfaces. A sunroof that actually works as a safety hatch. So if any accidental scenarios happen, the safety hatch can get the drivers out of the cabin easily. It also lets in natural light and creates a feeling of bigger space there. And the view through this roof can be enjoyed by both the passenger and drivers. The developers from Volvo were extremely proud of the new air condition used in driver's cabin. They keep the name of the cooling system iPark Cool, which ensures a restorative sleep for drivers after a long drive. We have to have good climates. You really sleep the whole night, and this is an integrated air condition, so it works the whole night with electrical fans. The compressor to the air condition system is also electrified, so you have the right climate the whole night without having the engine idling. Before they make lots of high-tech trucks like this, the designated staff in charge checks the cabin carefully. They want to know what happens if there's a crash and how the cabin holds up. After rigorous tests of durability, stability, and resilience, they write down everything they find out, even the smallest details. Volvo's manufacturing team takes about 5 days to turn a roll of steel into a truck. All those metal plates are made from the so-called boron steel. To connect the prefabricated parts in the best way, the makers press them in 5 steps. They in fact apply the new laser welding method where 2 flat plates can be matched before forming. After building the whole cabin structure, the trucks need to go through a long vibration test. Those tests show how resilient the shafts really are. The vibration continues for around 6 to 8 weeks, 24/7. That's like driving more than 1 million kilometers. Volvo does this only to make sure the truck lasts a long time and doesn't break down. Apart from that, they take those trucks on the special road to check how tough they remain in everyday situations. The company wants to make sure the trucks can last for 10 years. The trucks drive through water, up steep hills, and over big obstacles like potholes and cobblestones. Plus, another aspect that comes with the cabin structure is the independent wheel suspension that improves the overall driving conditions and vehicle stability, especially over rough terrain. Volvo's early success came from the company's strategic approach to partnerships and acquisitions. It then increased the use of trucks. This surge in demand for Volvo trucks throughout various industries allowed this larger truck manufacturer to strengthen its position in the market over time. This laid the groundwork for their future expansion in the truck industry. The company Volvo began its journey in 1927 when 2 visionaries, Assar Gabrielson and Gustav Larsson, started working together to create something extraordinary. Gabrielson was a former egg seller who became the head sales manager at SKF. Larsson was a mechanical engineer with a passion for cars. With a bigger vision, this duo laid the foundation for what would become one of the world's leading automotive companies. The very first Volvo truck was first introduced in 1928. In its early years, the company quickly established itself as a leader in the automotive industry. It turned a good amount of profit within its 3rd year of operation. Under Gabrielson and Larsson's leadership, Volvo expanded its product line to include trucks and buses. Maximizing product lineup also helped people to adopt those vehicles to move their stuff. Basically, the time period between the 1980s and 1990s marks a big change for pickup trucks. They became more than just tools. The trucks were comfortable, safe, and stylish to meet the demand of the people who were also changing their tastes with time. To quote someone's famous lines,
"The best part of being a trucker is knowing that you're doing something that matters. You're not just moving goods, you're keeping America rolling."
In the 1990s, trucks from other countries, like Toyota and Nissan, started to get popular in America. To get a grip on this hardline competition with Japanese truck makers, American truck makers started working harder to keep up the business and invent new techniques and ways to cope up in this fierce competition. However, the development process for trucks differs significantly from that of passenger cars. It often takes years, as much as 8 years of research, experiments, and development. This lengthy process is crucial because trucks need to be really tough and reliable in line with the rage of the road, since they travel long distances over a long time, sometimes over 150,000 kilometers per year. Safety is a big priority during this time. They do lots of tough tests to make sure the trucks can handle crashes. Also, they add in advanced assistance systems to help drivers stay safe on the road. Volvo Trucks remains steadfast in its commitment to advancing road safety through innovation and rigorous testing. Volvo Trucks safety experts buckle down and work unflaggingly just to focus on its core motto: analyzing accidents and using the data to inform design improvements since 1969. Over 1,500 accidents have been studied and documented carefully. Then the team formed a valuable database for safety enhancement. Researchers collaborate with accident survivors like Enve Johansson, who shares his first-hand experience to aid in developing advanced assistance systems. Despite his comeback from a serious accident, Johansson's determination to return to truck driving underscores the importance of safety measures. All these become possible due to the researchers' sheer involvement in preventing the accident with a right harnessing of the real-world database. Over the years, Volvo's growth was remarkable. Part of their growth project involved expanding their operations globally and diversifying their product portfolio. They established manufacturing facilities across Europe, North America, and Brazil in the 1960s. This way, they were getting ready to mark their presence on the international stage blastfully. In the late 1990s, Ford Motor Company acquired Volvo Cars, which helped the company to refocus on its core strengths in logistics and transportation. This allowed Volvo to take over the two giants like Renault Trucks and Mack Trucks through acquisition. This appealing yet useful acquisition made Volvo stronger than ever. Even with all the changes happening, Volvo stayed true to its promise of working together with others. Their determination to be the best and to try new things, even if they were superfluous, made them stand out and change how things were done in the industry. Every time they achieved something big, Volvo pushed the limits of what future transportation for the trucking industry could be. All their efforts paid off to make things better for everyone related to the trucking industry. And if you see today's Volvo, they are continuously pushing themselves beyond the edgeline of technology under the leadership of President and CEO Martin Lundstedt. When it comes to technological advancement, Volvo likes to get its hands on it first. It ensures a proper mitigation of the major accidents to a great extent. One such quintessential advancement is their adaptive cruise control and lane-keeping support system. Because of the long journeys, truck drivers often get tired and lack concentration. To address this, Volvo trucks have a lane-keeping support system that activates at speeds of 60 kilometers per hour and help maintain the truck's position within the lane. If the truck crosses lane markings without signaling, the driver receives an alarm signal. This system has been mandatory in all new trucks weighing over 3.5 tons in the EU since November 1st, 2015. Adaptive cruise control is another finest example of the modern truck. This system adjusts speed and distance according to the vehicle ahead of the truck, so it can maintain a safe distance every time. This system automatically adapts to the pace of the vehicle in front and picks a chosen pace with a safe distance to avoid collision. Going back to 1881, the trucking world saw a major breakthrough with the introduction of the first semi-trailer by Didion Bouton. Bouton was a French manufacturer who came up with an innovative design. It needed to be pulled by a steam-powered tractor. The truck shook up the industry because it could transport larger loads over longer distances. People of that time were witnessing a celebratory revolution for logistics. Then in the late 1890s, plenty of truck makers started raising their production to catch the growing market of automobiles. But there was a challenge: how to transport these vehicles safely and efficiently to buyers. And by solving these challenges, making way through all the roadblocks, the early 20th century saw the rise of companies like Mack Trucks and Volvo. Mack Trucks was founded in 1900 in Brooklyn, New York. The company gained prominence during World War I for their reliability and played a crucial role in providing necessary equipment and supplies to military forces. As the 20th century was drawn upon, the trucking industry experienced rapid evolution. People and the other business industries saw the potential of trucks, how they helped them to grow in business by shortening the product delivery time. Electric starters, brakes, and illuminated cabins transformed trucks into sophisticated machines. They were becoming capable of meeting all the demands of a rapidly growing economy. The evolution of trucks in America is a combined story of innovation, necessity, and the spirit of progress. It's a story that begins with the birth of automobiles in the late 19th century and continues to unfold through the present day. Though trucking has gone through so many technological advancements, rear-end collisions still account for over a third of all truck accidents. To solve this issue, Volvo has integrated numerous electronic safety components into new trucks. Among these, the emergency brake assistant is one of the important technological aids that utilizes both cameras and radar. This system detects potential collisions and autonomously applies the brakes to prevent accidents. Engineers from Volvo continuously test these systems to ensure their effectiveness in real-life scenarios. About 90% of truck accidents happen by human error, such as distraction or excessive speed. That's where these systems aim to refocus the driver's attention on the road. This is especially very inevitable when a driver on his long journey tends to fall asleep unknowingly and reacts suddenly. These sudden reactions lead to eccentric movement of the driver, which is observed by the technology. If the driver fails to react on time, the truck's emergency braking system engages automatically. Additionally, a new evasive maneuver assist system to assist drivers when emergency braking is not sufficient. By recognizing insufficient braking distance, the EMA guides the truck safely into an adjacent lane, even at maximum speed. In the event of a crash, underride guards act as important safety features by preventing cars from sliding underneath trucks. If the guards are not solid enough, the vehicle behind the truck easily slides through it and causes fatal injuries. These underride guards play the role of barriers and help the truck to absorb some of the impact. To continuously upgrade safety standards, manufacturers are constantly refining, strengthening, and investing in robust underride guard systems to minimize the accidental consequences as much as possible and improve their truck safety all the way. Despite all these advancements, nearly about 50% of truck drivers still neglect the very first thing before hopping on the driving seat. Many more lives could be saved if more drivers buckled up with the seatbelt. At Volvo, they have tested their dummy drivers not weaning a seatbelt against the one with a seatbelt on. Even at 30 km/h speed, the one without a seatbelt got hurtled through the windshield. So the first thing drivers should get aware of is wearing the seatbelt even before starting the truck. If we talk about winter specifically, trucks face different challenges, especially on slippery roads. Even skilled drivers can face danger when trailers swing out of control. An incident known as jackknifing, which can lead to fatal accidents for both the driver and oncoming traffic. Often, drivers who frequently navigate heavy-loaded trucks on narrow forest roads have experienced the frightening effects of jackknifing firsthand. To address this risk, Volvo trucks developed the stretch brake system, which automatically brakes the trailer to prevent jackknifing when activated by the driver. This system ensures that the truck and trailer remain aligned all the time. It basically helps the truck's safety and increases the driver's confidence. Stretch brake provides drivers with a sense of security and control. Drivers who are perfectly aware of the trailer misalignment and have full control on the stretch braking can reduce the risk of jackknifing. In addition to jackknifing, blind spots remain a significant safety concern on the roads. Though there have been tons of improvisation in mirror visibility, big trucks always got a blind spot. If any car, cycle, or pedestrian remains on the spot for some moments, they can easily be unnoticed. That's where the lane change assistant comes again. It actively monitors the area the truck intends to enter. If a vehicle or cyclist is detected in this area, the system provides the driver with both acoustic and visual warning signals. When preparing to turn right with a vehicle in the blind spot on the right side, the driver receives similar warnings. This system has the potential to prevent nearly 1/10 of all accidents. A radar system activates sideways and scans the area for vehicles or objects. If detected, it triggers an alarm inside the truck. Furthermore, Volvo Trucks goes beyond just implementing these life-saving benefits, even if it comes with a huge investment in R&D. But some bigger companies are still hesitating to invest in these new technologies due to concerns about rising costs. However, experts estimate that widespread implementation could save thousands of lives in Europe alone. So, while initial costs may be a concern, the long-term benefits of improved safety and reduced accident-related expenses outweigh the initial investment. And Volvo has proven it right. And it isn't just ethically right, or just making their personal growth. It's also economically sound for trucking businesses. Now, as you can see, the new FH truck. It involves good attention to detail. Around 350 individuals worked constantly on the cabin until it's fully assembled. The engine is like the revolution of the truck. It meets all the tough emission standards set by Euro 6. Thanks to fancy electronic parts, it runs really smoothly. Even though it costs a lot to test and develop, Volvo Trucks keeps focusing on making safety technology better to keep both drivers and pedestrians safe on the roads. Dynamic steering, the new steering system of Volvo, promises an even easier way of handling the truck. The system contains electric motors in order to release the driver while steering. This system guarantees directional stability and precision in any driving situation. It is based on an electrically controlled motor, which is regulated approximately 2,000 times per second to provide very precise steering behavior. There are 3 features of Volvo dynamic steering that are beneficial for the driver. The first one is the low steering wheel force required at low speed. The second one is the disturbance reaction. And the third one is the steering wheel returnability. The best fact about the steering system is it reduces 20% of the muscular effort of the driver.
When I reverse, it requires very little effort to steer the vehicle. I can let the steering wheel slide back in my hands.
The new dynamic steering system is not only a relief on flat roads for the drivers, Imagine that we are in a timber truck in the forest. Since the road is very uneven, it's very beneficial to have a disturbance reaction. Volvo dynamic steering will keep the front wheels straight if the driver doesn't apply any torque to the steering wheel. Even a hamster is used to demonstrate how easy it is to steer the truck with a new steering system. The name of this little guy is Charlie, who only weighs 175 grams. He's supposed to steer the truck out of the Spanish quarry. Oh, and don't forget, this is very important. Volvo has done it for real. The hamster could really steer the truck. Many of the people thought it wouldn't be possible, but it steers the truck like a pro. The professional stunt driver guides the hamster through the wheel just with the help of a carrot. Gradually, the truck is steered from the bottom of the quarry over the stony hills up to its peak. And yet, this is not the end. The Swedes were also able to convince action stars Jean-Claude Van Damme. The trucks will be placed closely together, and he will be standing on the side mirrors, 1 foot on each mirror. Then the trucks will move backwards. After a while, they will slowly separate, and he has to perform one of his famous splits with 1 foot on each side mirror of each truck. A minor misalignment of any of the trucks, and he will be grinded underneath the truck. Due to the new dynamic steering technology, the drivers of both trucks could match their distance very precisely and kept the same speed, all while driving backwards. At that moment, Volvo just created a history by the stunt. Jean-Claude Van Damme's fitness as well as the driver's skills are essential for the stunt's success. But it would not have been possible without the Volvo dynamic steering in the first place. The truck headlights are also undergoing a massive change in design as well. Volvo is adding new features to improve safety on the truck's headlights. The goal is to achieve dynamic main headlights for even better vision. They have actually incorporated a very important safety feature here called the daytime running light, which is an LED lamp here that by law has to be on at all times. Additionally, there are special bending lights to improve vision even at night when driving in a curve. The beam is aimed in the driving direction and not straight ahead as in the past. The period between 1934 and 1942 witnessed significant advancements in semi-truck technology. From the outset, the company adopted a culture of openness and transparency. Their motto,
"What you can't say to me so that everyone can hear may as well be left unsaid,"
set the tone for an organization built on trust and collaboration. The global truck market is on a road of significant growth between 2023 and 2031. During the pandemic, when the whole logistics sector faced a pause, the truck industry did a steady business. Because some supplies like food and medicines need to be transported, in 2024, the truck market is expected to reach a total of 3.75 million units in total sales. And according to the business research company, the industrial truck market is projected to expand from $24.72 billion in 2023 to $25.94 billion in 2024, with a compound annual growth rate of 4.9%. They also said the market will continue its growth with a CAGR rate of 5.1%, which will value in total $31.68 billion in 2028. A recent survey highlighted the significant role of truck drivers in the economy. Around 80% of the voters think that drivers play an important role in the economy. In response, trucking companies are offering attractive salary packages and comprehensive benefits to attract both new and experienced drivers. These offerings provide hope for many individuals who face job insecurity and low wages. To avoid accidents, the contractors and drivers regularly test the new trucks in detail. The trucks are available for the guests in all varieties. They come from all parts of Europe to Gothenburg to test the trucks. At first, some people are unsure about all the new assistance systems in trucks. They might think, wow, there's so much new stuff to learn. But after a bit of practice, they realize how helpful these systems are. They make driving on the road safer and more efficient. This is especially important in industries like logistics, where there's a lot of demand for fast and reliable deliveries. Thanks to new technology and smart planning, companies can come up with better ways to deliver packages. They use digital tools and carefully plan delivery routes to make sure everything gets where it needs to go on time. By connecting different parts of the delivery process and using automation, they can make things run smoother and safer. One example of this is a system introduced in 2014 that lets someone control a long truck with a tablet. Now, all they have to do is start or keep the automatic steering going. The truck and the depot work together to make sure the truck gets to where it needs to be. Cameras at the depot help guide the truck, and if there's something in the way, the system will see it. According to a recent report by consulting firm PwC predicts, electric trucks will become increasingly common over the next 15 years. They anticipate that 1/3 of all trucks in Europe, North America, and Greater China will be zero-emission vehicles powered by batteries or fuel cells by 2030. This shift is being pushed by stricter regulations and the decreasing total cost of ownership for electric trucks. Meanwhile, noise pollution remains a significant issue in the trucking industry. High noise levels can stress drivers and make them more prone to accidents. To address this, engineers are constantly working on ways to reduce truck noise using better insulation and soundproofing techniques. They are working on a quieter driving environment to help drivers stay focused and alert. However, concerns about carbon emissions from traditional trucks still need to be addressed. E-trucks are different from regular diesel trucks because they run on electricity instead of fuel. This switch to cleaner energy sources is great for the environment because it helps cut down on carbon emissions. Inside an e-truck, there are electric motors powered by big battery packs. Since they don't need things like exhaust systems and fuel tanks, e-trucks are more streamlined and eco-friendly. But even though they use electricity, they're just as big and strong as regular trucks, so they're perfect for lots of different jobs. Tesla's semi-truck can travel 500 miles on a single charge and recharge up to 70% of its energy in just 30 minutes. The Paris Agreement, which is all about fighting climate change, says that we need to have at least 20% of all road vehicles running on electricity by 2030. Technology has made electric trucks more practical, but there are still some challenges to figure out, like how to organize and run them efficiently. Plus, organizations like North American Council for Freight Efficiency are big supporters of using electric trucks for transportation. They imagine a future where we will have a mix of trucks, including diesel, natural gas, hybrid, and electric ones. By using each type of truck for specific routes and tasks, we can be more efficient and as eco-friendly as possible. This way, different technologies can work together to meet the diverse needs of transportation while being flexible and adaptable to changes in the industry. To keep up with the pace of demand, the trucking industry needs to start using more high-tech equipment soon. And like with anything new, we can't see all these changes until they're actually put into action. So let's wait and see how far these high-tech trucks can take us.